Prior to training, I like to get here and make sure I do about maybe 15-20 minutes of reformer. Just because it just makes a big difference on the way I move during training. Obviously going into training you can be quite stiff and quite cold, and just because I'm so fortunate to have one of these at my disposal, and this made a huge difference to lower back pain I was having about 6 years ago. Came across a physio who had one of these. He's absolutely brilliant, and soon I went on it once and just really realised the impact it makes, and it's been a big part of my daily routine, and obviously the treatment model I use with people who come through the door. So I just basically look to do soft tissue, well not soft tissue sorry, but like just stretching, fascial work prior to training, and it's also like kind of that mental prep side as well, where I start to think about the exercises I'm doing and try and zone in a little bit. That's something I'm really trying to do with my training more and more, which I think is a skill which is become disconnected from your outside environment and the external distractions, and more just focused on the exercises and movements there and then. So I like this one because obviously pins prevent you from going the way down, and I just find that the further you go down into a barbell squat, the more you've got to manage factors in your hip. So if you do have one side, one hip or one socket or any type of hip issues, they can come into play, and then really you got to think about what happens as you go heavier and heavier. So as this becomes heavier, you really managing forces around your hips and just in the pelvis and hip rotators. So I like just doing it from the pins, where you can get that push off and really feel the ground and find that point in the quads where you're using your feet and your quads to push off. And you get some good glute on this as well, but it's a great precursor for the next movement I do, which is a lot more accurate, should we say. Band's really simple. Is it because it's such a small range of motion? I want to maximise just keeping tension throughout the whole movement, so the band is just adding a little bit more at the top. And I've tried it with different variations of the bands, and these small thin ones work better than the large thicker ones, just because the large thicker ones, when you take it off, it's going to make you very unstable. So what I've found in the past is that as I've used a thicker band and pulled it off, it's pulled me everywhere. So these are just enough to provide a bit of tension, but not too much so it throws me off balance. So just work up 3 sets of 5, always leaving 2 reps in reserve. I never go all out on this one because the next movement's a lot more demanding. So it's kind of like a neurological warm-up, but also it does a pretty good stimulus for the quads as well. The idea with this one is it's called like see what's going to be there exercise. So I've put 6 to 8, and that's not like top set and backing off or anything like that. It's just seeing how I'm feeling on that day and what's there. So this is maybe not the top set. I'm just going to go for 6 reps, and rather than going like heavy, like I said, I'll just see how I feel and see how this one is. Recently I've come away from using music. I was heavily reliant on, just when you go into the gym and you're just really enjoying yourself, and you're getting pumped up and listening to like high tempo music, and you've had some pre-workout or a coffee. But what I was finding is that it like kind of gets your thoughts racing too much. Like you're not quite in the moment enough. You're more about getting carried away with the like excitement. So I really do believe that, you know, to control the movement, you have to control your mind and quieten it down and just focus on everything, just this set right here. So I've come away from using music at the moment, and the focus is better, but like I say, it's about practice. So, you know, for something to be effective, you have to do it quite a few times. So I do actually prefer, at this moment in time, just training in silence and just really trying to focus on nothing but the movement. This dumbbell shoulder prep stuff, it kind of throws you off a little bit, because, you know, when you're coming in, you want to get like real just down to the heavy exercise and hit it hard. But what I've found is that I'd rather do 3 or 4 exercises in a gym workout properly, like really put the warm-up emphasis and getting everything feeling right, rather than trying to do like 6 to 8, because I've got about an hour to train. So to get all these movements in, I either think the more movements, the reduction in quality. So right now I do 3 to 4, depending on time and depending on what time I start my day. This one is just to get the shoulders warmed up, but it's focusing on scapular movement and just getting the breathing right, and that works really, really well for the next exercise, which for me is one of the best chest developers you can do. I've had a very tempestuous relationship with dips over the years. When I first started doing them, it was all like basically just a little bit of a bend and I think like 60 kilos worth of plates, very small range of motion. Obviously just jammed up my neck and my traps, but I've just found that if you really look after your shoulders and really pay attention to your breathing, and in some cases don't go too far, because if you go try and get right the way down, you can just jam up bicep and shoulder. But for me, if you get the angle right and really kind of just tilt forward and push yourself back, it's an insane chest developer. Profile's not great, especially with this variation weighted. But I believe, or the way I periodize it, is if you get this one strong, once you get to like, you know, 20 kilos, 30 kilos, you can extend the pauses. And then once you extend the pauses, you can then come away and band it. So add band resistance, and that makes the profile more favorable. So this phase is about building strength at the bottom. So once that's built in terms of like tendon ligament strength, then I'll take the plates out and band it. So it's making it a lot more favorable. But yeah, very good exercise. Okay, so that's Monday session done. Big compound movement for the legs, big compound movement for the upper body. They're like fluffy stuff, I'll do at home. That's just like your mobility, bodybuilding type movements, ones that don't require too much prep and aren't too heavy. Always finishing every session with some form of cardio. Mondays is intervals, and Fridays is a steady 5k. Looking to overload that in some way, so I think I beat it by about 80 meters in terms of the total distance gone. After this, it'll be a cold shower, then breakfast, then crack on with my day. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit subscribe.